Happy Easter. Great being with you today. This Easter season is always beautiful. It is celebrated by so many Christians throughout the world. And the Christianity's foundation is based on the interpretation of the crucifixion of Jesus. And the epic experience of one man is told to literally thousands of congregations each year. And one thing that is we have always talked about, that there is no hell on the other side when you pass away. And guess what? I saw on TV today, the Pope made the announcement that there is no hell. Yes, he did. We believed that for a long time, and we.
Pope Francis.
Yes, the Pope. What a great man. For this too, he was sent to let us know that if we don't believe Jesus died on the cross, we're going to hell, and guess what? There's no hell. Wow. Isn't that how long have we waited for this? You know, Coptics have talked about this for years and years and years and years and years and years to a handful of people. And then the great one, the greatest Pope of all time, that personifies what a human should be, a leader should be, always thinking of the other person. Fantastic. I was thrilled. Just absolutely thrilled, and I was just so anxious to give you the news. I wonder if you should tell your Christian friends, however, if this is true. Right away. Call them. Spread the word. Wow. Oh, I'm excited. On an individual level, each one of us is the center of a cosmic clock. Each of our clock numbers is a disciple or a discipline from another life, bringing back to us one of our lessons for this lifetime. Jesus had 24 disciples, 12 women and 12 men. We have released that for years and years and years and years. And Jesus' 24 disciples, he chose them because they symbolize a nature of himself. And you have 24 disciples that mirrored back to you what you were in your past lifetimes. And just think of the people that you have been emotionally attached to this lifetime, either positively or negatively. And you will find your disciples. I'm back, and I'm just like you. Oh, goody. Goody. I don't think so. This is a tough place we live in here. A great school. But the definition of crucifixion is a painful event. Physical, mental, and emotional. It takes an individual into their heart. In Jesus' case, he was crucified by the very same people he had served for the years of his ministry. And they, in turn, crucified him on a personal level, to be realized on multi-dimensions. His crucifixion was a prototype for all us to interpret, analyze, and eventually individually refer to ourselves. Examples of crucifixion, and some of you have experienced this: divorce, betrayal by a friend, a relative, a business association. Because each of us perpetrated the same crucifixion, betrayal in another lifetime. I've done this before. I tell you all about him. What is this? There's one finger at him and three fingers pointed at me? Oh, yes. I think, in my opinion, the greatest thing in Christianity is what? Forgiveness. Forgiveness of Judas. That is so important because we've lived our life and we've lived good lives, but not perfect lives. Even did Jesus live a perfect life. And what we came back to do is to bring these Judases into our life and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I knew I was just like you. And I ask you to do this day on Easter. If you've not done this, and I've done this before, I want you to go to each of you Judases and just state their name and say, I forgive you. I now understand why I attracted you into my life. And I bless you. And I forgive you. It's very important. And that will bring us joy and happiness. And guess what? Release. We have to release this stuff. Release it. What good does it do it? We can't change the past. We can only forgive it. And once you do it today, this is a very, very powerful day. And at the end, I will tell you why it's such a powerful day. Because this is this kind of a day, and I wish I could tell everybody this, but they don't believe in planetary numerology. You say, unfortunately, the Rapids Press hasn't called me yet to explain about that. But the big thing about Judas is, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. You've got to let him recognize that this life is about magnets and mirrors. Oh, yeah. You think there's a coincidence? Oh, no. There ain't none. We attract who we were, and we forgive them, and we bless them to be wonderful in their life, their business, their family. And you'll feel a release of this. We need to release it. And let it go, Mary Jo. How many times you heard that? But it's important. And today is a darn good day to do this. Oversimplified, our negative karmic experiences are meant to open, expand our heart, to lead all of our minds into self-realization of Christ or Buddhahood. Remember, they both were great leaders. And then eventually God consciousness. By the way, that energy is around more and more. Every Easter we are reminded of the reasons we are on this earth plane. So, I want to give you some examples of your 4 disciples. I want to talk about disciple John in your life, symbolically. It's your buddy. Someone in whom you can confide and be your marriage partner or significant other. Disciple John is always there for you through any crisis. And this is the spirituality. And you have just people you sit and talk to. You can really have a conversation with. They understand you. And it's, wow, I met this person today. And wow, it was fantastic. We could really talk. Really important. Really important. The next one is Thomas. It's your intellectual policeman. The person who questions your decision-making and challenges you to re-examine your ideas. This is the mental body causing us to question our beliefs at times. The third one is Peter. Powerful, dynamic ally as long as the going is good. If there's any kind of crisis, Peter will desert you. You know people like that. If you really need them, bye-bye. You got to handle this one by yourself. Oh, yeah. And of course, Judas is our betrayer. And the key to handling him or her is how you treat him when he betrays you. Very difficult, very challenging. And of course, it's symbolized by the physical body. If you don't take care of Judas, a physical body, he or she will let you know about it. So this energy of the disciples is very, very important. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our Coptic Christian interpretation of Jesus' body from a Coptic perspective. The Coptics were the first Christians. And I learned that from Muhammad Bey, of course, but I witnessed it when I went to Egypt. for the first time. And as a result, the first Christian church was built by Mary and Joseph with baby Jesus. How about that? So when we went there and started seeing these little things in these different buildings in Egypt, baby Jesus was here. Baby Jesus was here. Baby Jesus was here. Baby Jesus was here. Oh yes, they're all over. They're all over it. And in 1991, our Egyptian guide took us up to this church. And I and Jim and Janice Campbell were with me, and I symbolically married them in the first Christian church built on earth. That was a great memory. We'll talk about Jesus a little bit. As a child, at the age of 12, he and John the Baptist went to the Great Pyramid. And they were anointed in the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. At that time, they were given their mission at that point. And Jesus stayed in Egypt and went through extensive training of self-mastery. As you know, there's chakra systems all up and down the Nile. The Nile represents your spine. And now when we go to Egypt, we go into these different chakra systems. And he did. He became a master, a modern-day Houdini who could do all the things that Hamid Bey could do. You see, that's what Hamid Bey could do. And he was buried alive 5,000 times. He could stick pins. I saw him stick a pin right through his, right here, and all those things. He learned how to do that. Jesus was a modern Houdini of his time. But with humility, love, and service, he didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell anybody how great he was. He didn't tell anybody about it. But as a teenager, he was trained in Egypt, going through the chakras initiations. Basically the same thing that Hamid Bey did. And after that, he traveled in many countries and became a universalist. And he examined all the different religions, and he said, you know, this is a good religion. Wow, this is wonderful, this religion. This one's good too. I stopped at this country. And he became a universalist. And then we know the story about the fact that he had to get on the cross. But Coptics have mentioned it year after year after year after year, and I was ordained in 1968, and I had to go to my two centers of Flint and Kalamazoo, and every Easter I had to announce that Jesus didn't die on the cross. One year in 1993 in Kalamazoo, I was there, and I had 30, 40 people there every week. This week that Easter there were 80 people in the room. I said, wow, Coptic's really getting out there. The name of Coptic is really getting out there. Fantastic. This is wonderful. Wow, it's really growing. So I went through the spiel, at Christmas, at Easter, and then I said, my announcement is to you, Jesus did not die on the cross. And 40 people stood up and left the room. They thought I was the Antichrist. They heard about me. Bye. I never saw those 40 people again. So that shows you how they feel. And the Christians had every right to believe this, but the point was, he didn't die on the cross to save his sins. But when he was on the cross, he didn't feel anything. He could lower his heartbeat back to 2 or 3 beats a minute. He stuck pins in his hands and all those places. He didn't feel a thing. So he lowered his heartbeat to about 2 or 3 beats a minute. He was laid on the ground, right next to the cross. So when he was examined, they thought he was dead because his heart wasn't beating like normal. So you can see both interpretations are right. Both the Christian interpretation was he died on the cross, yeah, symbolically he did. And then he went off and continued his service. And actually, the Coptics and the early Christians had this self-mastery thing going all the way until the 2nd century, when the Council of Nicaea changed Christianity. And that's when the Bible was written and all those things, and everything was changed. And the Coptic and the advanced Christian philosophy went underground. And then with Hamid Bey's bringing the energy of this story to America, because he was told that America is the Holy Land. So it was this dramatic thing that really represented this. And then another thing that changed my life was I was in the travel business for 30 years and traveled all over the world. But this time we went to Paris, and our guide took us up to this temple. And he said, "This is the Mary Magdalene Temple." I said, "Really?" "Yeah, the Mary Magdalene Temple. You want to go in?" I said, "Sure, I want to go in." I went in, and there was the story on all 4 walls. The story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And some of you have heard Jesus married Mary Magdalene and had children. How many people you knew this in the room? Mm-hmm. Yep. So I want you to go out and tell your Christian friends. You were given a... I'm sorry.
Your mission is be so true. Especially the Catholics, because the priests vow celibacy because they claim Jesus put stuff.
He had children too. And it was all on the walls of his temple. I said, "Oh my gosh, who am I going to tell this to?" Well, I told it to the Coptics. We traveled all over the country at that time. That was before the building was built. But we did a lot of traveling around. We did conference here, conference there. And we have responsibility here, gang. We have a responsibility of telling the truth. And now the Pope, yes, has admitted it. There is no hell. And we're on our way. But
I was just going to say, maybe the people want to Google this if they so desire. It was at Rennes-la-Château, or
La Belle-Due, Rennes-la-Château in Paris. Yep.
Well, it's outside of Paris.
Yep.
The Mary Magdalene Temple. It's up on a mountain.
But the original Christians, the Coptics, and we are the lineage of the White Brotherhood of Moses. And by the way, the previous incarnation, Jesus was Joshua. Some of you, I mentioned that before. The numbers of Joshua and Jesus are exactly the same. So here he brought the lineage of the White Brotherhood of Moses and brought it into Coptic. And then that's when Christianity was moved into Egypt. And then Egypt continues the Egyptian mystery schools. So, that's the story today. So, you better get your telephone out and start calling your Christian friends. They'll be happy to hear from you. Oh yeah, we can do it. We can, for sure. But it takes this occasion to do it. The people who are drawn here to do it, you're ready to know what we represent of diet, meditation, exercise. We look at the flags of all nations. We embrace all world religions. We pray for everybody. Everybody is wonderful. That is what we are here to do. Everything is blessed. We are blessing everyone. And this is what you are called to do and why you're attracted to the Christian philosophy. Today's a special day. When I saw April 1, Easter, I said, wow, isn't that interesting? I talked to this planetary numerologist, joking with me. I want you, yeah. Then you add 9 months, exactly 9 months from today is January 1, the first day of the new year. Isn't that interesting? And we are world servers. We are lights of the world, and guess what? We're going to plant some seeds for humanity. Oh, yeah. That's the way it works. It's a science. Conception, birth. Every day is a conception day. Every day 9 months later is a birthday. But it had to be conceived, and it's always 9. January 1 is powerful. And what we're doing, farmers, light workers, lights of the world, we're doing our job. Here's a recommended daily prayer. These are the seeds, and we're going to replant some seeds for the next year of 2019. Yes. Pardon me? It's a 3-year. It's a communication year. And here we are in the age of Aquarius. This is why this is all happening, because it's all power of the mind. I mean, that's what Aquarius is. You know that. It's about the power of the mind, power of thought. And this is why you incarnated. We don't remember when we were up in heaven and volunteered to come down and be a light server. But we did, and you're attracted to a place that endorses this. So I'd like to have you get the daily prayer out, please, lights of the world. We will close with this prayer and read it together and realizing we are planting seeds with intention for humanity, of all people, of all nations, of all religions. That's what we came back to do. We love everybody, of every nation and every religion. So let us pray together. Okay, you ready? Almighty Mother, Father, God, I pray for healings on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, in all families, in all health centers, in all doctors' offices, psychologists' offices, AA meetings, and counseling sessions, and everywhere else where healing is needed and desired. I pray that all politicians choose peace in all circumstances. Bring the 10 Commandments to national and international expression. I pray that all humanity remember that all children, while alive, are symbolically our children, and all people are our brothers and sisters. I pray that women everywhere are empowered and experience equality with men. All men and women are created equal. I pray that slavery is eliminated from planet Earth. I pray that governmental laws be for the people, by the people, and for the people. The hungry find food, the homeless find homes, the sick and injured are healed. I pray that all nations share their nation's national resources with their people and other nations. I pray that all religious and spiritual leaders to pray daily for all good to manifest on earth, and they continually seek the manifestation of the peaceful coexistence and cooperation of religion. I pray that businesses succeed in all nations, and as a result of national and international business successes, everyone, everywhere, find meaningful, creative, life-sustaining work. I pray that beginning in 2018, the worldwide economy is around stable in the planet. I believe. I just imitated Hamid Bey. That's what he did.
I believe.
So, just read this every day. Great ones. And we have fulfilled our destiny. Because those seeds are going to grow. And they're going to reach monumental proportions. We don't know when it will finalize, but I guarantee you, when we incarnate again, we'll say, wow, what happened in around 2018? Wow, what happened? We won't know what a great role we had in creating a new, beautiful, fantastic world where all nations, we have the spiritual unity of nations, We have people coming together to pray for all of humanity. God bless you, world servers. God bless you, lights of the world. We are so honored that you are part of this organization. God bless you all.